Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Dr. Trenese L. McNealy. I am the CEO of Dr. Trenese L. McNealy, LLC, and Lachey's Design Boutique. I am the author of Mommy's Goals versus Reality, Managing School, Work, and Family. And I am also the co-author of the Glambituous Guide to Being a Mompreneur in 2020. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to part 2 of my virtual Lunch and Learn series, Maintaining a Successful Work-Life Balance. Before we get started, I like to always have our attendees to type where they're from. So if you can pull up the chat box. You can type your name, your state, your city, whatever. Just let us know where you're from and I'll shout you out throughout this event. And then while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and go over the objectives of this virtual event on today. So during this virtual Lunch and Learn series, attendees will gain a better understanding of the strategies that have helped working moms maintain a successful work-life balance. Attendees will leave each session with the knowledge needed to implement these same strategies in their life. Attendees can grab their lunch and join myself and my special guest moms for an exciting free learning event. So first, what I'm going to do is go ahead and introduce our guest speaker, our moms that we have on today. First, we have Courtney and Williams. And as I introduce you, you can say hello, however you want to do it. But we have Courtney and Williams. Courtney is a working mom, wife, bonus mom, entrepreneur, and social media influencer. Although she has been in the marketing industry for over 9 years now, her true passion is helping other women walk in their God-given purpose. She has been able to share her journey from single motherhood to blended family life with women all over the world. She has built a lifestyle brand centered around family, relationships, faith, fashion, and so much more. Her ultimate goal in life is to show others, no matter what unexpected twists or turns come about in life, you can still have the life you've always dreamed of. And that's Courtney and Williams. Next, we have Muneera Paige. Muneera is a wife to an amazing husband, mother of blended family with 4 beautiful girls, and a career woman. By day, she manages a team of engineers in the oil and gas industry and runs a commercial residential builder company with her husband. By night, she is a social media influencer and lifestyle blogger. Muneera's goal is to continue sharing her journey in hopes of impacting as many women and young girls with inner confidence, education, motivation, and self-love. Muneera. Okay. Next, we have Tina Meeks.
Hey.
Tina is a wife, mom, social media influencer, and entrepreneur. She has built a lifestyle brand centered around marriage, motherhood, family fashion, and healthcare. Her ultimate goal is to inspire other women to tap into their God-given purpose and live out their dreams. Tina. Okay, now let me see if Christina is ready to join so I can introduce her. See. Okay, so while we're waiting on Christina, we have Marquita from Marietta, Georgia joining us on today. And we have Kanita in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And Kanita is actually my sister. Hey, Kanita, thanks for joining. So let's see, Christina. Let's see, Christina. Okay, so while we're waiting on Christina, Christina Abiola is a new mom, clinical business analyst at New York City Health and Hospitals, and a social media influencer. She is extremely passionate about her family and creating a happy home. Christina also loves to inspire and encourage others. Christina, thank you for joining.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Sorry about that.
It is no problem. And our last mom, Aubreya Green, unfortunately, she will not be able to join us on today. I received notification that she is still taping. She was called on last night to tape on today, so unfortunately, she will not be able to be here. Hopefully, she can join us.
I'm not done yet.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our panel discussion. We may have our kids visiting us throughout the session, which is great. So the first panel discussion, what I'm going to do throughout the panel discussion, it's going to be a 25-minute discussion where each mom will have 5 minutes to answer the question. The first question will go to Courtney. And Courtney, the question is, how has being a working mom impact you mentally, physically, and spiritually? What strategies have helped you to maintain a successful work-life balance? Tell us your story about mom life.
Well, it's impacted me in every way, shape, or form that you can think of, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I started my journey 8 years ago. My oldest daughter just turned 8 this past July. And as a first-time mom, I was a young single mom. So that's how I started my journey on motherhood. It's not the way that I envisioned it starting, especially since my mom was a single mom. It was always something that I said I didn't want for my own kids. And so the way that my journey to motherhood started was definitely very interesting and not how I pictured it. But fast forward now, 8 years later, I'm now a mom to 4. I have a blended family. I had a daughter, my husband had a son, and then we now had 2 girls together. And then, so that's something that I never saw as well. I always saw myself being a mom to 2 kids, my girl and my boy, and that's it. Never saw myself having this huge, big blended family. But it's funny how life works and God laughs at our own plans. Some of the things that has helped me balance being a working mom is just priorities, time management, and sacrifice as well. Right now, I have really little kids with an 18-month-old and a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old. And so I realize that this is a really demanding stage of motherhood. I know that it's only temporary and it won't last forever, but just this current stage that I'm in is just a very demanding and can be kind of draining stage as well. So I really just have to manage my priorities right now, especially being a working mom, starting different businesses, and then having young kids as well. So I would definitely say priorities, time management, and then just sacrifice as well, knowing that there's some things that I have to sacrifice in this stage, but like I said, it's just a temporary stage and it won't last forever. And another thing that has really helped me is just relying on my village during this season in life. I'm that type of person who doesn't like to ask for help, but I've realized that I have to lean on others during this time. So friends, my mom, my family, cousins. I'm blessed to have a big extended village to help me raise my kids. And so that's a season that I'm in right now. It's just really realizing that I can't do it all on my own, and learning how to accept help and ask for help as well.
Okay, great. So the next question is, I'm going to ask everyone the exact same question, and this question is going to be for Muneera. So, how has being a working mom impacted you mentally, physically, and spiritually? What strategies have helped you to maintain a successful work-life balance? Tell us your story about mom life.
My story about mom life is definitely, I would say, different from a lot of people. I did not grow up thinking that I was gonna be married with, kids. I'm an only child. I'm biracial. My parents divorced at a very young age, and I saw my mom being a single mother. My grandparents raised me for a good amount of time too, but I was very career driven. So, you know, I dated, I had fun, I partied. Settling down and, you know, being with having a husband and kids, that just wasn't one of my goals. I thought I was going to be that rich auntie, spoiling all my other friends' kids. And it worked for a long time. It really did. It's funny because I was working and I was in the mall shopping for some shoes. And that's when I met my husband. He came up to me. So like I said, how everything happened is definitely, like Courtney said, God sometimes laughs at our plans, because now I have a million kids. I have a husband, and, you know, my friends are like, oh my God, because I'm, you know, married before some of my other friends got married. So they just always thought I was, like I said, going to be the rich auntie, spoiling everybody else's kids, not necessarily having my own. But work-life balance is definitely something that we had to figure it out. Mainly because like I said, I'm very career driven. My husband's the same way. I'm the only child, but my husband has a million siblings. He's Jamaican, so large families, you know, that's a cultural thing. And even though he has a lot of siblings, neither one of us had experience with children. So the twins' diapers, I have twins, by the way, their diapers were the first diapers I've ever changed in my life, in the hospital when they were born. So yeah, I know, listen, and I was the rich auntie, y'all. I'm serious. I had to ask for help because I didn't know. I know it's common sense, but still, it's like
You still need that help.
I strapped it this way and that way, and it covered the cheeks, but I don't know. So, and you know, he has a lot of siblings, but he never had like the baby experience. So us having no experience, coming home to two babies, we're in a house like, okay, what do we do? So from day one, it was literally us figuring it out. One thing that we definitely do is set aside family time, because we get so wrapped up into careers and trying to do so much and make sure our kids are taken care of, families taken care of. Sometimes we forget the important things in life. And like this pandemic really made everybody slow down. We started slowing down before the pandemic, but it really hit like once this pandemic hit. We, you know, definitely implemented a lot more family time, which I'm so thankful for that. And I just feel like everything just happens for a reason. God just has everything lined out, even though when you don't expect it. So yeah, I think scheduling family time and making it a priority was definitely something that we implemented and, you know, we'll continue to use. We also, when we have dinner, there's no electronics allowed at the table. Because, you know, we get so wrapped up in the social media and being on our phones and talking to friends and family that I don't want my kids growing up thinking that they don't have like straight attention from us. So that's something else we do. You know, we eat breakfast together, we eat dinner together. I know it sounds crazy, even the baby, she's in her high chair, but yeah, we don't allow any gadgets. So just little things like that we've implemented. And I think it really helps help us bond and keep that family of importance.
Yes, because that really does help, because we do the same thing in my house. When it's dinner time, I'm like, put away the gadgets, cut the TV off. We're just going to sit here. We're going to talk and eat dinner together. So yes, it really does help. So I'm going to ask the same question to Christina. How has being a working mom impacted you mentally, physically, and spiritually? What strategies have helped you to maintain a successful work-life balance? Tell us your story about mom life.
Hey, I'm like, everything is coming back now. Hi, everyone. My name is Christina. Being a mom, I didn't expect it. So when I first got pregnant, I was just like, oh my God, my life is just starting. I'm about to graduate. Like, is this the time for me? And like just throughout the journey, I know someone spoke about having like a strong support system. From the beginning, and I come from a very I come from a Nigerian home. So a lot of people think, you know, Nigerian parents are so strict, but my parents have just always been so supportive of me. So when I told them, I was scared because I'm like, I'm not married. I mean, I love my man, but we're not married. So it's just like, it was a hard experience, but everyone was supportive. And through that, I was able to have like a really, really nice, comfortable pregnancy. And now that I'm a mom, it's like I had to find a way to go back to what I love, my passions. You know, I have lost some of my passions, but I'm trying to gain them back. I'm trying to find that balance. And I think what I did personally was when my daughter was maybe 3 months, like I just went right back to work. And I work contractual, so I do contracts once in a while, and I can go back home for a month, work for a month. So I did that, and it was hard. I think my second day at work, I cried because I was so full, and I left my pump, and I was just struggling. So it was a great experience in the beginning, and now I think it's harder because now I work 9 to 5, and then I work as an influencer. So it's just like, how do I, really fully give my baby attention? How do I give myself attention? How do I give my man attention? And all this balance it seems so impossible. And it's just like, as a woman, I think God just really created us to do this because we just do it so effortlessly, so flawlessly. Like, we're all here together, put together, beautiful women, successful, and we're doing it and raising a family at the same time. So I think everything we do, everything I do just really comes naturally. And I pray, try to make sure that I'm emotionally balanced as well. Because if my head is somewhere else, then my daughter is going to feel that. My fiance is going to feel that. So there's a lot there's a lot. And I think I just try to balance it the best I can. I really just go through life, and I try not to stress out, and it's been working so far. So
Okay, great. And I'm going to ask the last question to Tina, the same questions. How has being a working mom impacted you mentally, physically, and spiritually? What strategies have helped you to maintain a successful work-life balance? Tell us your story about mom life. You're muted.
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes.
Okay. For me, motherhood is probably has been the most challenging but rewarding experience of my life, just physically and mentally. I had my first baby at 22, completely out of left field, and it was at a time in my life that I did not want to be a mom. I too wanted to be the rich auntie and just travel and come back and visit my nieces and nephews and things like that, because I come from a very large family. I have 7 sisters. But with that, I have a very strained relationship with my mom, or I did growing up. So there was a lot of pain in that relationship, and I didn't understand how I would be able to give love to a child because I didn't get the love that I felt like I needed from my mom. So I didn't want kids. And then I got pregnant, and it was like, okay, maybe I do want this. And so we had my oldest when I was 22. My husband was 23 at the time, and we now have 2 more. We just kept having babies. And it's one of those things where you never know what you're doing until you have to do it. It's like suddenly the light switches, and all your instincts just come flooding in, and you know what to do. I don't even know how else to explain it. Like, every day is something new, it's something fun, it's something to laugh about, to cry about, but I would not trade them for the world. Spiritually, it has required me to lean on God in ways that I have never done before. I know that I'm not surviving most of these days without him. I know that he has graced me to be the mother to these babies. And I know that if surviving off of coffee and Jesus was a person, it is me. That is how I am getting through with the kids being home in virtual school, and my husband is working home full time. So I'm basically daycare and working, because he is literally on like conference calls and things like that all day long. So I have to keep the kids quiet and out of the way. And it's just like, I don't even know how I get work done most days. I have to get up early, really, really early. I get up at 5 most days, just because that'll give me 2 to 2.5 hours of just quiet where the kids won't be up yet. I can think, I can try to get like some of my creative work done, because it's easier for me to use my brain in the morning before the kids wear me down than to be one of those people who try to do it after the kids go to bed, because then I'm just worn out too. So getting up early helps me, scheduling time to just like pray and, just be grateful for life and to work out in the morning helps because it allows me to just fill my cup before I have to pour into the kids and my husband and everything like that. And then sometimes balance is no balance at all. It all just kind of runs together, and my husband is very hands-on, so he picks up where he can, and then we make sure to schedule things like family time and movie night or date night after we've gotten the kids go to bed. We have to be very intentional about that with everybody being at home, because otherwise everything is just going to run together all day long. So it sounds kind of boring and kind of cliche, but a schedule is my saving grace these days. I have to have dedicated time for me. I have to have dedicated time for God. I have to have dedicated time for my husband. And then I have to have dedicated time where I'm okay, Tina, put the phone down, play with the kids. Because being a mom influencer, it's like you want to capture everything on camera because they're always doing something cute and funny, but sometimes you have to put the phone away. And it sounds crazy because I think I do a good job with that, but my baby, he had just came in here. He'll be 2 next month, but sometimes he'll want to play a particular game or he'll want me to play basketball with him, and I'll pick up the phone to catch him, and he'll say, "No, put your phone down." And he's not even 2 yet. It's like, so where you're lacking, they'll definitely tell you, even if it's not an area that you don't think that you're lacking in. But having a schedule and just being intentional and knowing that every day won't be perfect, but it'll always be worth it has kept me sane. So that's my motherhood journey thus far.
Okay, so because that's exactly how it is for me as well. I know for me, I have 3 kids. I have my stepdaughter and my 2 boys. And growing up, I was always like, I'm not going to have kids until I'm like 35, 40, because I'm career driven as well. But I had my son when I was 28. But I'm still career driven. And the one thing that we try to do for our family is have Fun Friday. So every Friday we try to set that aside for the kids. So they look forward to that. They know they're going to have their junk food, their candy or whatever, and they love it. They're going to get to watch their movies. And I like to also take them to the store and just let them pick out whatever they want. So we can just go home and just have that fun time together as a family, because the kids, they're going to always remember that. They're going to grow up and just remember Mom and Dad was just always working. We didn't do anything together. So you just want to make sure that you establish that time now to set aside for the kids so they can have their time with you, so they don't miss out on that. So that's great to hear that you all have that same those same strategies as well. So what we're going to do now is open it up for Q&A from our audience. I did have some people to provide their questions. So what I'm going to do is read off their questions first. If there's any others in the chat, I'll read those as well. But the first question came from Stephanie McLarty out of Hamilton, Toronto, Canada. And her question is, what was the most difficult stage for you, and how old were your kids at the time? So anyone can jump in, answer the questions. If you have a follow-up response that you want to provide after someone else answered, you can do so as well.
I guess I'll jump in. I would definitely say toddler stage. I just posted a video on my social media this past week on my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old, and they got into flour in my pantry, and they had it all over my living room and my couch while I was on a call for work. And that's just like a typical day for me with toddlers. I know a lot of people say or think that like newborn stage is hard. And I think the hardest part about newborn stage is just being tired, just being sleepy. But outside of that, they just eat, sleep, and poop. That's all they do. They're just there. But this toddler stage is not for the weak at all. Just between meltdowns and trying to get up and run errands and having to load all the kids up or having to go to the grocery store, things, just like everyday things. I feel like having kids in this stage makes it like 10 times more difficult. But one thing that's just helped me with this stage, like I said earlier, is just knowing that it doesn't last forever. And then you'll look back on it. I'm sure a lot of moms tell me that have grown kids and older kids, like you look back on it and you miss it. So instead of trying to like rush through it or complain about it, I really just try and live in the moment, as frustrating as it was to walk out of my room and just see my living room in complete chaos and damage. I had a lot of my older aunts and stuff telling me, you know, save that video because it's something that you'll look back on and you truly will miss it. So I'm just trying to like live in the moment of this toddler stage. But for me so far, like I said, my oldest is only 8, so I haven't entered preteens or teenage years. So who knows, or college years, who knows what's in the future. But for now, so far, toddler stage has definitely been the hardest for me.
I'll second that. I think our kids had a meeting about destroying the house
Right.
because the week before, my baby put pink slime all over like my cloth gray dining room chairs, and he was having the time of his life. And RIP to my chair.
Right.
But toddlerhood is difficult, but I will still say, at least for me, when I had Zoe, my second child, infancy was a very difficult stage for me because she was such a needy baby. I had to hold her or wear her all the time. And it was a struggle point for me because we had just gotten married at that time, and we had also just moved to a new state. So I was a new mom again, a new wife, and I didn't really have like friends, family, and support system around. So it was like that struggle after having a baby where you're trying to find yourself again, not trying to be lost in being a mom, not trying to be lost in being a wife, and just having a baby that demands everything out of you at every single moment of the day. That was a lot for me. I ended up in therapy after Zoe because I felt like I was drowning. So for me, I would say toddlers are busy, but just the not feeling lost in the newness of the journey, infancy will do that to you. Or it did it to me.
I I agree with both ladies, but I have to agree more with Tina on that one because having multiples is a completely different game than having just one baby. And that's not to knock anybody's journey that has just, you know, a child at a time, but having twins after being a only child with no baby experience and having no idea what you're doing at all, I think I kind of lost it at one point. I, you know, definitely tried my best to keep it together, but there were many nights where I just literally lost it, and I was just finding myself like crying. And my mom, luckily, she was around, and you know, they're twins, but people forget they're still two different babies. They have two different needs. And just trying to figure out how to be a mother to two individual babies at the same time that's the same age that needs to yes, they do eat all day, sleep all day, poop and pee all day, but at the same time they're on different schedules. So that leaves mommy and daddy with no rest. We were complete zombies for maybe the first 4 months, I would say. It was very difficult. There was a time where I was trying to bond with each child, but one of them was easier to bond with than the other. So I, you know, was going through a period where I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? It worked for one baby, but the other one, she doesn't like me. She only wanted my mom or my husband. So, you know, just going through all those emotional stages, and I had a C-section. So trying to heal from that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, a lot of people don't know, but I went for my just a regular doctor's appointment about a month and a half prior to I think I was maybe 31 weeks at the time. And that doctor's appointment turned into a hospital stay. And I was in the hospital for almost a month and a half on bed rest. So I wasn't at home like everyone else. I was in the hospital in bed for a month and a half. So that took a complete toll on my body and my mind, everything, but prior to the kids being born. So I dealt with that, which, like I said, I share a lot on social media, but there's a lot that I also keep to myself or my family. It's, you know, just things that are personal. So that, it was definitely a difficult stage. Just trying to figure out everything and feeling like, you know, you have to figure out everything at one point, because you hear so many stories of all these moms. They're like, oh yes, it was great, you know, the journey, motherhood. And, you know, I'm sitting here like, this is not what it is. It's not what
Somebody lied.
I said I was going to be that rich auntie. And then I'm thankful for these babies, but I didn't expect to be in the hospital that long. I didn't expect to not be able to bond with both of the girls at the same time. It was just so many new things, but I'm really thankful for my husband, who, you know, was a great support system. So I shout out to the women that, you know, don't really have a support system like that, because like I almost lost it with the support system. So yeah, us women, we just go through so much, and you just never know what somebody's struggling with, you know, behind closed doors. So
yes, it's so true, because I know for me with my first son, I'm the oldest in the family, so he was the first grandson, well, the first grandchild for my parents. So of course he was spoiled. And at home, I could not do anything. I had to hold him. I'm cleaning up, vacuuming with him in my arms, cooking with him in my arms. So he just did not want to be put down. And then with my baby, I was in school at the time getting my doctorate. So the pregnancy, it was hard. It was like the hardest pregnancy from my first pregnancy. And it's just the whole process was really difficult. So that was the hardest time, just going through that pregnancy with my my baby. But in the end, everything worked out. So everything, it just takes time. Once you get through the process, and then just know how you're going to get things together in your life, then it'll all work out. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to move to the next question. It comes from Amanda Turner in Houston, Texas. And her question is, what strategies do you apply to work successfully and be involved with virtual learning for elementary kids school at home?
I don't have elementary kids, so I'm going to
Ask
really
it
answer
again.
that question.
Ask it again. I'm sorry.
What strategies do you apply to work successfully and be involved with virtual learning for elementary school kids at home?
Help me. I don't know. No, I normally do a lot during the day and do things like consultation calls and things like that for people who want to be influencers. But I have completely like paused almost all like extracurricular stuff, and I only do mandatory stuff because I'm relearning and rededicating like my time to learning what a new schedule. It's my kids just went back to school like 3 weeks ago, and it was like, dang, we had just gotten to the rhythm of like our quarantine routine with being on the summer, and then it was finally flowing smoothly, and then boom, school came. So to be honest, I'm still learning. I'm fortunate enough to where I make my own schedule so that I can plan my day around her class time. And I know everyone doesn't have that possibility. So for someone who is working a 9 to 5 and would still have to be like on the computer and doing work and things like that, I would say maybe getting up earlier so that you can get busy work or work that's really going to require your focus done before the kids start school, so that you can kind of sidebar with them and pay attention to what they're doing in their class and engage with them and their teachers. Or if you have more than one child, my youngest takes his nap at the same time every day. So that way I know my daughter, she's 5, she's in kindergarten. I can focus in and do like just some one-on-one time with her while he's napping, so that he's not running around in the background competing for attention. And then my oldest, he's in middle school, so he can kind of self-pace himself with his Zoom activities, but we just kind of have like a catch-up session in the afternoon to make sure that he's actually done his work, he submitted it the way he's supposed to. His teachers isn't asking like anything that I need to be checking in on. But my kindergartner is requiring the most attention in terms of virtual school, just because she's having to learn technology. That's the clingy baby. So she values like human connection. So she was struggling to connect with her teachers because she wasn't able to be there with them in person and things like she was in preschool. So just trying to make sure, I had to like get her teachers to give her like just some extra Zoom time so she could feel like she could connect with them and learn their names and feel like they see her. She doesn't really feel like people can see her if they're not right there in her face. Bless that child. So just making sure that I plan as much as I can around her day so that she's getting the attention that she needs and that she's actually taking in the information has been helping so far, but it's still a real learning curve, to be honest.
I know for me, I have a 4th grader and a pre-K student. So, and I also work full-time 9 to 5 on my other job. So outside of my 2 businesses, I work full-time as a director of programs and grants. So yes, you have to wake up early in order to get things done. For my businesses, I have to wake up early to get everything that I need done for Lachey's and for my LLC, because if not, I'm working late trying to get those items done, because during the day, my focus is on my full-time business. And then while the kids are in school, I managing my time, because time management is key. You have to have time management in order to get everything done. So I'm focusing on what I have to do at work, and then also helping my sons as well. So in between their lessons, getting up, making sure that they're staying focused, because with my 4th grader, he wants to sneak and turn the TV on while it's time to do his lessons. So I have to stay on him about that and making sure, because he'll submit his work, just rushing through it, trying to submit everything. So I'm like, nope, unsubmitted, going back through, making sure he completed everything correctly before resubmitting. So it's just trying to make sure you're doing that balancing act, focusing on what you have to do in your career, and also making sure that you're making sure that the kids are focused during that e-learning as well. Anyone else wants to comment before I move on to the next question? Okay, so the last question came from Nan Payne out of Washington, D.C. And the question is, how do you know if your idea is for business or nonprofit? How do you know if your idea is for a business or a nonprofit?
I mean, I think you have to kind of look at why you're starting a business. Like, if you're starting a business, to supplement your income because maybe you want to stop your 9 to 5, then definitely it should be for profit. But if you're passionate about something, like helping others, or just you want to see some type of change in the world, and you have some type of business that can impact the world or impact what your passions are, and you feel like, you don't need to, I guess, get any profit from it, you just doing that from just to help someone, then I think that's where you can kind of decide, where you want to go.
And I would say, don't feel like it has to be either or, because you never know what idea you have. It could turn into both. Like, I started on this whole social media influencer journey unintentionally. I had no idea it was going to turn into what it has. I really just started sharing my journey from a single mom to a blended family, and now just marriage and motherhood. And it's turned into a source of income for me. But now that I have this platform, ideas I have are, to give back to single moms or motherhoods who don't have support, or low income moms. So that's going to be like another branch of the journey that I'm on right now. So it could be both. I wouldn't feel like you have to choose like, oh, I have this brilliant idea, but does it have to be for profit or nonprofit? I would just pursue the idea and then kind of let it take whatever journey that it takes, and it could turn into being both.
Yeah, I second what Courtney says. I feel like you don't have to put yourself in a box. While my platform is monetized, and that's how that it's my full-time job now. I also do several things. Am I muted?
No, you're
okay.
You're
So okay, several things throughout the year where I give back on a nonprofit, helping families. I like early in the year, especially when COVID first hit, I started like a COVID relief fund and was able to like donate thousands of dollars to families who weren't able to like pay their utility bills and things like that. So I don't think you have to put yourself in a box. You let the idea work its way through, and then you kind of see where you land from there.
Okay, great. So we have 3 minutes left in this session. Before we close out, I do want to ask a final question for each of you ladies. What do you have upcoming, and how can our audience connect with you? And anyone can start.
So right now I still, work my 9 to 5. I'm like a hustler child. I work 9 to 5. I do social media. My daughter is now starting to do photo shoots. So I'm like struggling, but right now I just have like a lot of content coming out. I'm really trying to focus on my social media so I don't have to work 9 to 5. I can be home with my baby, like, as much as possible. That's my main number one goal, is just to make sure all my money is coming from, my schedule. I'm making money for my family and not someone else's company. That's my goal. So for now, I just have like a lot of companies I've partnered up with, campaigns. I also am thinking of starting a business very soon, just trying to put all my, coins together. But I'm excited for the future. I'm very, very excited.
And then how can everyone connect with you?
Okay, you can follow me on Instagram at that's my old name, at Christina Abiola. And I also want to start with YouTube. I also want to do like family stuff. So my YouTube is also Christina Abiola.
I'll go next. I'm not gonna say a lot. Right now we're just gearing up for the holidays. Holidays is like an extreme sport when it comes to being an influencer or mom blogger. It's like it's busy season for us. So we're gearing up for a lot of holiday content on Instagram, the blog, and YouTube. Her Life Sparkles on all of those. And then my husband and I, we recently started a relationship podcast called Life Partner Gang. So we are really excited about that. It's our new baby. We have 4 episodes available right now on all platforms. So we're just excited to see where that goes. So that's Her Life Sparkles, for just like me and mom family stuff. And then if you're really interested in just like relationship talk and tips, it's Life Partner Gang.
I don't have anything coming up. It's just my regular schedule, kind of like Tina said, just gearing up for the holidays, and work life and private life is just crazy. So fall season is just always nuts, but people can find me at Court and Williams across all channels, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all those things. It's the same name across all channels, but I'll just be putting out the same type of content that you're used to seeing from me, just with all the holidays coming up, with a sprinkle of all of that in there as well.
Oh, am I last?
Yes.
I was looking at the photos. Okay, who's next? Same here. We just have we're going to continue our busy schedule, work-life balance like we talked about. My husband and I have a construction company where we build custom homes and we started doing commercial properties as well about a couple years ago. So we have a couple projects, but a lot of that I don't necessarily show on Instagram. I'm really thankful that a lot of our clients don't necessarily come from social media. So but on the social media side, I'm still going to continue. I have a blog, and my Instagram handle and blog and all my social media handles are Muneera Paige. So we'll just be doing the same, putting out the same, well, not the same type of content, putting out different content, but you'll continue to see my family and I, especially gearing up for the holidays as well. So.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, ladies. So in closing, I would like to invite everyone to register for part 3 of this series, which will occur on November 21st. So all of our participants who are listening, November the 21st will be part 3. For those of you who are listening to the playback, The virtual Lunch and Learn series is free for everyone to attend, and all you would need to do is register on eventbrite.com. The 5-part series will end with my virtual Mommies and Mimosas Mother's Day Luncheon, which will be held on May 8, 2021 from 1 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And general and VIP admission tickets are currently available on eventbrite.com. So again, thank you everyone for attending today's session, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And thank you again, ladies, for your participation. You all have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Love everyone on your
All
journey.
right.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.